All right. So let's get started. Monday morning here, March 11th. Reminder is no 10 a.m. call today. No 10 a.m. call today. So anyway, productive agent call. So wins. Share some wins. Let's hear some wins.
I got both my listings under contract last week.
Selling 2 listings. Gotta love that. That's like, woohoo. All right, who wants to follow that? Nobody, right? Holy crap.
Good job, Robin.
No, that was Amy.
Oh, good job, Amy. My ears don't work today either, sorry.
So Richard had a closing. Hey, Richard, you there? I see you visually, but I don't see your microphone on. Excuse me. So anyway, I know Richard had a closing. He was working on getting a price adjustment on his lot. I don't know how that went either. So there's 5 of us on a call, 4 you, myself, and the 4 of you. So I'm not sure where everybody is. This will probably be a short call. So any other wins? Charles, got any wins?
I got a house under contract for my buyer that I met just 3 weeks ago.
Sweet.
Good job.
So I'll call that a win.
Here comes Robin. So Robin's skidding in. She doesn't have her voice on yet. So, and then where did you meet this buyer again? I'm sorry, Charles.
This is the one from going to church thing. So.
Got it. Yep. So he's sitting in church. Guy was talking about real estate. Charles is sitting there ready to chew rebar, wanting to talk, but not wanting to talk in church. So the other guy next to him said, well, Charles is an agent, and that was it. So once the other guy introduced him, gloves are off, right, Charles?
That's right.
So anyway, so Robin, can you hear us? You don't have any voice yet. Let's see. Amy's muted. There's Richard. Richard had a closing last week, so we're sharing wins, Richard.
Good morning.
Good morning. So you had your closing, right?
Yes, I did.
Unrepresented buyer, right?
Correct.
Gotta love that.
Yes, I do. Very happy this morning.
Yeah, exactly. So, and where did that listing come from?
SOI.
SOI.
Yes.
Imagine that. So, Robin's on the call. Hey, Robin, you there? Let's see. Robin, are you joining the audio? Center, are you joining the audio?
Rob, I'm on my phone and it says hang tight, the presenter has not shared anything yet. So I've been sitting here waiting since 8:55.
No, we've been all here.
Okay.
So
Mine says too.
It took a couple minutes for me to show up on the call.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have my screen open, so I had to. And then when I switched back screens, I'm like, oh crap! All the people were waiting. Click, 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 and let everybody in. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, someone just called in their phone. That's probably Rob. No, that's not Rob. So someone's on their phone. But anyway, it doesn't matter. That's who?
Trevor.
Oh, hey, Trev. What's going on, buddy? Got any wins?
How you doing, man? Yeah. Got any wins? You caught me flat-footed. Let's see here.
Stansburg.
Oh, yeah, I put a deal under contract, and I picked up a new buyer.
There you go. Deal under contract and a new buyer. That'll work.
Yes, there you go.
Those are wins. Those are big wins.
Take them where I could get them.
And where did you get the listing and the buyer?
Oh, it's SOI.
SOI, got it. Right. And Robin, Robin's finally got her audio worked out. Hey, did you have any wins from last week, Robin?
Yeah, I got a call from a seller that I met one of the neighbors at an open house, and then he referred me to a seller, so that was kind of cool.
Oh, yeah, that'll work. So you had an open house this weekend, right?
Yeah, I had 2 on Saturday. Actually, I learned a lesson that I'm pretty dumb. At the open house I had last April that this particular referral came from, I was really good about having people sign in. The 2 open houses I had on Saturday, I had sign-up sheets, but I didn't really ask anyone to sign in. And at the end of the day, I kind of like stopped in my day, and I'm like, what a huge miss, because I'm now working on 2 deals from that other open house.
Right.
And I had 2 on Saturday, and I missed the boat. There's a few people interested. I don't even have a way to follow up. Like, I am so mad at myself, actually. So don't do that, everybody. Be smarter than me.
Make them sign in. Make them sign in.
Yeah.
Okay, so that would come under things we learned, right? So, all right. Well, let's move on to the next topic. So we got wins and then struggles. Any struggles? Anybody struggling with anything? Any type of lead generation? Any type of prospecting? Any objections you're getting tossed at you that you're not able to handle? Anybody have anything like that they want to handle? They want to discuss? No, so everybody's got prospecting and lead generation down perfect. So perfect. You guys have more leads than you know what to do with. You have more money than you know what to do with. Is that what I'm hearing? That silence is deafening. So anyway, so no struggles. And then what about questions? Well, Robin learned a good one. What are some ways you get people to sign in over there? Other than just ask.
Well, somebody had told me one time that they started saying the seller asks that everybody signs in. So
right.
Then it kind of takes it off you, and I really just should have done that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it doesn't have to be, hey, can you sign in so I can call you and follow up 20 more times in the next 2 weeks?
Right,
of course. Be, hey, the seller's asked for everybody to sign in so they know who's coming in and out of their home. I'd appreciate if you do that, you know.
Right.
I could have done it easily. I didn't. It's like a massive fail. I'm so mad at myself.
Right. Yeah, you could say for security reasons we need to have everybody registered. Why not, right? So anybody else have anything? Anybody else would like to add to that thought? How do other people do it? Does everybody actually do it? We have people sign in.
So
my website offers that.
Your website offers free registration for.
Yeah, so when they come in and sign in on the website, then it actually will start retargeting them for similar properties in the area.
Sweet. Oh, that'll work because they signed it. So it's an open house tool. It's literally an open house registration designed specifically for that. So when you create the open house registration, you tell it what address, and then when it knows the address, it'll start dripping other listings in the area.
Exactly.
That's pretty slick. That's pretty slick.
Well, that's why we pay top dollar for it. So.
Yeah, so he has a very expensive site. So you could also take those names and numbers, go home and enter them into Pro Agent and set them up on a hot sheet. So for considerably less money. So not saying what he, yeah, considerably. So he uses a site called YLOPO. It's not for the faint of heart. If you're definitely chasing web leads at high levels, I think it might be worth a look at. If you're not chasing web leads at a high level, then I'm going to suggest you don't look at it.
I would agree.
So, because it's not for the faint of heart as far as the pricing goes. So, any other questions? So, we got let's see. I'm looking to call 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of you on this call are signed up for the Mike Ferry thing, which that's pretty exciting. So we have 10 that have already paid. We have, let's see, we have 13, I believe. Let me take a look at the list. So we have 13 that have said yes. One of them is waiting to hear about a travel thing, and then the other two I'm just waiting. So we should have 12 people going to, at least 11 to 12 going to this Mike Ferry event, which I'm real excited about that. Real excited. I think you all are going to be you're going to be surprised at what you're going to learn. The other thing is too, I remember when I first was introduced to it, and it was an agent. She used this kind of listing presentation dialogue, and I was like, wow, that is awesome. Where'd you learn that? And she told me Mike Ferry. I said, would you role play with me? And she said, no, I will only role play with those who've been to productivity school. And I was like, okay. And I went to productivity school. And then once I went to productivity school, then I knew why she said that. And it made a lot of sense. So once you go through the class, you'll find that. And then there's role play partners all over the country. So you don't just need to have our office. So I recommend you get a role play partner for maybe 3 role play partners and minimum, 4 days a week, 3 to 4 days a week, you have role play. And then so role play anything you're struggling with each other. I mean, but once you've been through the class, you'll be able to join other people nationwide that have been through the program and understand the scripts and dialogue, and they even and understand role play. And role play, you always, if you're role playing with each other now, you should always let the person win, right? So the person that's doing the appointment setting session or whatever it is, you got to let them win. If they say, give me this objection, then you give them that objection, let them handle it, and then move on, right? Don't sit there and be just a major roadblock, because you have to experience winning, right? So if you think about something in your mind about actually doing something, and then and then your brain activity for actually doing something and thinking about it are the same. So we used to play when every time the phone rang, I heard the phone ring, ding, right? When you were prospecting or making any calls, we would sit there in our mind and say, all we need to do now is simply set an appointment. That way I can help you get what you want, the time you want. That'd be great. And you go, yeah, which is better for you Monday, Tuesday, 4. And then they would say Tuesday, right? And so, or whatever it is you were struggling with. So if you were struggling with getting a signature, you would say every time the phone rang, you'd say, all we need to do now is simply sign a contract. That way I can help you get what you want, the time you want. That'd be great. And they say yes. And then you say sign a contract. And then you would visualize them either saying yes, setting the appointment, or you would visualize them signing the contract. So think about that. Every time a phone rang, how many times do you hear a phone ring during the course of a day? I mean, and we're sitting there with 2 headsets on, making phone call after phone call after phone call, so we heard the conversation take place about 100 times a day. So the idea was that if you filled your brain up with those past experiences, then when you are on the phone or when you are actually out on an appointment, you are expecting the appointment. You are expecting them to sign. It's just an expectation because you have done it so many times over and over and over in your mind, which is the equivalent of doing it, right? That's just the way your mind works. Your mind doesn't differentiate between reality and fantasy. So it's important to have that kind of thing going on. And it's important to have that thing kind of going on no matter what goal you have set for you, whether it be a certain amount of money, no matter what it is. You just have to be able to see yourself with it. And so, see yourself doing it, see yourself achieving it. When I walked on coals, right, walked on hot fire with Tony Robbins, we basically spent the night celebrating doing it. We visualized doing it. Then every time we visualized doing it, we got done and we started jumping up and down and celebrating. Woo-hoo, woo-hoo, type of thing. So it was amazing. And then that's how we rehearsed for it. We went out and looked at fire. That was kind of intimidating. Then when it was over, we went, it's just out there, man. And you got there. You got in your state of mind. You visualize it, and they said go, and you just walked across hot coals. But because we've done it so many times in our mind that when we got there to do it, we just did it. It's amazing. It's amazing what your mind can do. So I just read a book or listened to a book called Switch on Your Brain. It kind of gives the science and biblical references for the "you are what you think" type thing. It's pretty interesting from a science and it was interesting to hear science and biblical phrases kind of joined together. It was interesting. So, Think and Grow Rich is all about the mindset. Think and Grow Rich says you got to visualize everything you want. You got to see it. You got to see yourself with it. So if you want a certain amount of money, you got to be able to see yourself with it, and then you got to start behaving as if, right? You heard me say before, I want you all to behave as if you had 5 listings, 5 pending sales, and 12 quality leads. So, except for when it comes to lead generation, I don't want you to say, well, I got enough business, I don't want to do that. So the only time I don't want you to think about it is that time. But when you're talking to people, if you behave that way, you will start attracting people in your life, because what happens is people are drawn to that kind of energy, right? If you have commission breath where you need the money, then people sense that. And they're like, no, I don't want anything to do with that, right? So people get that. And so when you have the behavior style of, I don't need this deal, I'm actually here. You don't go on a listing appointment to see if they'll list with you. You go on the listing appointment to see if you want the listing. If you kind of walk in with that kind of swagger, then they'll actually be more apt to list with you because of the fear that you don't want them, right? When that's why in the script book it says, 1 of 3 things will happen. Number 1 is you'll decide to list your home with me, or number 2 is you may decide not to list your home with me, or number 3, I may decide not to take the listing, and any one of the 3 is okay. And then they're like, well, why wouldn't you take the listing? Well, if we can't come to an agreement on price and terms, there really won't be any point, would there? And they're like, well, no, I guess not, would there? And the idea is when you tell them that you're not here to play games, you're here to take the listing, then it kind of sets them up to where, okay, I don't own this guy, now I have to have him, right? It's the takeaway. When you take it away, they have to have it. So pretty interesting the way that works. So any thoughts, questions, concerns on that? Anybody want to add anything to that? No? So, all right. Well, and for those of you that haven't signed up, I would encourage you to go. I know Robin's going to be out of town, and that's that's just the way it is. If you're in town and you haven't signed up, I would say I would strongly, strongly encourage you to do it. I promise you, your career will be the better for it. Even if you're doing other things in your life, the way you learn the language patterns, the way you learn the science of dialogue, I think it'll help you in any situation in your life. It just helps you to know how to speak to people. So anyway, that's all I have. Anybody have any questions they'd like to talk about? No? Well, if there's nothing here, I'm going to go ahead and end the call. Again, another light group this week. Last 2 weeks have been light, so not sure if people are getting. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But anyway, so if anybody doesn't have anything right now, I'm going to go ahead and end the call. So if not, if you have a question or struggle or win, just let me know. If not, I'm going to end the call. See you guys.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank
Bye.
you.